yes, there is, but you probably don't have to worry about it. The average for Australian agricultural soils is between 1% and 2% carbon, which is very, very low. I've seen ones that are down to 0.5% through to probably 14% is the highest I've seen in a actual farming system. There's some soils that can get up to 40, 50%, but they're not really functional soils anymore. So in practice, I generally say that about 10% is near the upper limit of what we currently understand to work well in a productive farming system. Going from 1 to 8% is going to have massive benefits for productivity and efficiency and profitability and all that sort of stuff. Once you get to some point above 10%, depending on the soil and all sorts of other outcomes, you can start to have too much of a good thing and have too many nutrients locked up, or have not enough mineral content of the soil for some functions to work properly. For some reason, microbial activity drops at the higher rates. I'm not sure if that's a cause or an outcome, because if you've got a lot of carbon getting pumped into the soil but low microbial activity, using it to create energy and breathing out carbon dioxide, which goes out of the soil again, if it's all going in and none coming out, that means that there's no microbial activity, and that's a bad thing, really, really bad thing. That's how peat bogs form. You have aquatic plants and organic matter washing into a pond with very low oxygen in there. When oxygen isn't present, microbes have a harder time processing organic matter for energy and releasing carbon dioxide. So that means that things don't break down properly, and the organic matter just builds and builds and builds and builds over time. So that's very high carbon soil. That's the 40, 50% that it can get to, but it's not functional. So if there's places around Australia, like some parts of northern New South Wales, near the coast and in the mountains, that reach 10%, that while still being very functional. A lot of them seem to only be in the top 30 centimeters. So there's a lot of potential to increase carbon and make things better by increasing it at lower parts in the soil, like 1 meter and lower, entirely possible. But it doesn't seem to be building further than that by itself, which I think is related to the productivity thing. If you're sitting on the vast majority of agricultural land in Australia, even the much higher carbon levels, really, really good soil is very high carbon levels, like 5%. You still can double the total amount of carbon in there, which at 5% is a huge amount of carbon, hundreds of tons per hectare. You're not likely to do it real quick. If you figure out how to do that and you're going, oh dear, I've put too much carbon in, don't worry about it, because you can go out and tell everyone else and make a huge amount of money, because no one else knows how to do that yet. I'd like to give it a go. I think I might know how to do it, but it's something that I haven't had enough time or opportunity to get that far. It's something that you don't have to worry about happening to you. There can be too much carbon, and it seems to have negative results for productivity, positive for all sorts of other things. And if you achieve that, I can tell you how to lose a bit again. It's not hard at all. To bring you back down to the absolute sweet spot. If you can make it to 10% though, you're amazing.